Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakbadash. And I want to say Shalom to Yaakov Nakwath out there, pursuing this truth diligently. Coming at you once again with another lesson. This is another edition of What Does It Really Mean? Okay, in this case, it's the word naked. Okay, the word naked, as according to as it was used in Genesis chapter 3. All right, so with this, we're going to go ahead and read at least a bit. I don't know if we're going to do all of it, but a bit of Genesis chapter 3. All right, so, and then we're going to get a couple words that are used here. Okay, so as a matter of fact, you know what, actually, bear with me. We're going to do this through the Blue Letter Bible because it'll make it easier since we got the Strong's up using the Blue Letter Bible. So, this is the fall of man, right? Genesis 3:1. It says, now the serpent, now most of us are familiar with this story, all right, to at least some extent, all right, with serpent, Eve, all right, Adam, all right. So, Genesis 3:1, it says, now the serpent was more subtle than any beast of the field which the Lord Yahweh had made, and he said unto the woman, Yea, hath Yahweh said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden? And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the fruit of the trees of the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst of the garden, Yahweh hath said, ye shall not eat of it, neither shall ye touch it, lest ye die. So she knew, right? And the serpent said to the woman, ye shall not surely die. He said, you're not going to die. All right, don't believe Yahweh. You won't die. Think about it. All right. It says, for Yahweh doth not know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened, and ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. So he says, he doesn't know what you're doing. You can eat it, and then guess what? Your eyes are going to be open. You're going to know good and evil. All right. You're going to know, you're going to know more about things. Okay. You're going to know things. And as a fact, this is going to come into play when we get the word naked. Well, the other definition, meaning it's one of these, Aram. Okay, Aram. So you see, they all sound familiar. There's three words that we're going to be going in today. We're going to go into Aram, all right, or Aram, and they all Aram. Let's hear the pronunciations before I butcher it.
Strong's H 6174. Arom. Arom.
All right, so Arom.
Strong's H 5903. Arom. Arom.
So this one's like Arom, this one's Arom, and then this one's what?
Strong's H 6191. Aram.
So Arom, Arom, and Arom. It's hard there. But yeah. Three different words, all meaning in a similar sense. You can see naked, bare, naked, nakedness, or naked in this case, become crafty or subtle, shrewd. But it says to be cunning, all right, usually in a bad sense, all right, very crafty, okay, deal subtly, okay, or subtly, all right, with subtlety. So let's go, and we're going to start reading a little bit more. Bear with me just 1 minute. My nose is acting up. 1 minute. All right, slack you for that. We're back. But yeah, so let's continue on. Let's restart up with Genesis 3:5. It says, for Yahweh doth not, for Yahweh doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be opened. I read it wrong the first time. Slack you. And ye shall be as gods, knowing good and evil. He knows if you do that, that you'll be powerful. So don't, he's just trying to keep you from being powerful, and that's why he used the woman as well, because as the scriptures tell us, let's go and prove it. Prove all things, right? As the scriptures say, give honor unto her as being the weaker vessel. Okay, 1 Peter 3:7, it says, likewise ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel, and as being hairs together of the grace of life, that your prayers be not hindered. So women are a weaker vessel, which means they're also more susceptible to demonic attack. Okay, that's just a fact. In verse 6, it says, and when the woman saw that the tree was good for food, and that it was pleasant to the eyes, and a tree to be desired to make one wise, she took of the fruit thereof, and that's the fruit of knowledge. It's not, they always make it an apple. It's just the fruit of knowledge. Okay, it says, and did eat, and gave also unto her husband with her, and he did eat. And that's where he went off. And the eyes of them both were opened, and they knew that they were naked. And they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. See, they if you go back to, I believe it's Aram, Genesis 2:25, it shows you, and they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed. So they were not ashamed because they didn't know that being naked was something to be ashamed over. But now that, you know, all this information flooded in, all right, really the information of life and death, and that's why they die now, is because now they have the information of life and death. Was it worth it, Eve? It says, the eyes of them both were opened. Let me scroll down. And they knew that they were naked, and they sewed fig leaves together and made themselves aprons. And they heard the voice of the Lord Yahweh walking in the garden in the cool of the day, and Adam and his wife hid themselves from the presence of the Lord Yahweh amongst the trees of the garden. And the Lord Yahweh called unto Adam and said unto him, where art thou? And he said, I heard thy voice in the garden, and I was afraid because I was naked, and I hid myself. And he said, who told thee that thou was naked? Hast thou eaten of the tree whereof I commanded thee that thou shouldst not eat? And the man said, the woman whom thou gavest to be with me, she gave me of the tree, and I did eat. Showing you that, you know, these women really destroy you, men. All right, you got to really watch out with the woman that you're with. All right, you could be with an Eve. All right, it says, and the Lord Yahweh said unto the woman, what is this that thou hast done? And the woman said, the serpent beguiled me, and I did eat. Okay, she didn't really take any accountability for her action. She said, the serpent did it. Well, you fucking ate it. All right, but the serpent beguiled me. I ate. But he beguiled me. All right. And the Lord Yahweh said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above all every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and dust shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and it shall bruise his heel. Unto the woman he said, I will greatly multiply thy sorrow and thy conception. In sorrow thou shalt bring forth children, and thy desire shall be to thy husband, and he shall rule over thee. So that set that in place. And unto Adam he said, because thou hast hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, because you listened to this woman, all right, and didn't, man up and think as a man, all right, it says, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, saying, thou shalt not eat of it. Cursed is the ground for thy sake. In sorrow shalt thou eat of it all the days of thy life. Thorns also and thistles shall bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field. In the sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return unto the ground. For out of it wast thou taken, for dust thou art, and unto dust shalt thou return. And Adam called his wife's name Eve, because she was the mother of all living. Unto Adam also and his wife did the Lord Yahweh make coats of skins and clothed them. So he gave them skins, all right, clothed them. And the Lord Yahweh said, behold, the man is become as one of us, to know good and evil. And now lest he put forth his hand and take also of the tree of life and eat and live forever. Therefore the Lord Yahweh sent him forth from the garden of Eden to till the earth from whence he was taken. We had it perfect, and Eve just had to fuck it up. It says, but we went off as well by, listening to the woman. Okay. It says, so he drove out the man, and he placed at the east of the garden of Eden cherubims and a flaming sword, which turned every way to keep the way of the tree of life. So, nakedness. What does it mean, really? All right, what does it mean? Naked, all right? Bare. So, in the scripture that really comes here, so this is the word that you see. If we go back and we scroll down, we can see Genesis 3 and 10, that we can go and find this word naked. You're going to see the word Eram, all right, Eram, or Aram, all right, Aram. And that means what? Naked, nakedness. So, right here, you see utterly naked, helpless, okay? So, you see it in quite a few scriptures, all right? And a lot of these go back to just meaning naked, right? But the big one here is they all, you know, if you look, they're all very similar. Okay? All very similar. Okay? They even sound similar, and they all mean, in a sense, nakedness. Okay? But the big one here today is Strong's H61 and 91, which is Aram. Okay? Let's listen to it.
H6191. Aram. Aram.
All right, Aram. And if we go down, you see a lot of different uses of it. Okay, it says, you know, in every single one, crafty, subtlety. But mind you, it's pronounced and similar to naked. Okay, it literally means to make bare. Okay, to make bare, and you can use that for nakedness in the sense that how Eve and Adam were naked, but in a sense, also, other than that, the scripture that comes to mind was made Esau bare. Okay? We'll get it in... Kind of glitching out there. All right. But I made Esau bare. I have uncovered his secret places, and he shall not be able to hide himself. His seed is spoiled, and his brethren and his neighbors, and he is not. Now, this word might go back to something different. This word bare goes back to kasaf, all right, which means to strip off, lay bare, to make bare. Okay, to make bare also means to uncover. All right, which the Lord also we go back. I have uncovered his secret places. So not just bare. If we go to bare again, let's go back. So I have made Esau bare. The word uncovered here again is galah. So even though bare, you know, definitions have multiple uses. All right. So even though the word here is an aram, all right, it's the aram still means to make bare, all right, or in a sense, not bare, but to become crafty. All right. So in a sense, with what happened to let's actually define crafty. It means clever, cunning, or sly. Often implied guile or deceitful methods. All right, so really this is also what happened with Eve. Okay, is because that they become crafty, they became, you know, cunning, or having or showing skill, often, you know, by deceit. All right, knowing. All right, knowing, but it's usually in a bad way. All right, knowing in a bad way. Showing skill achieved one's ends by deceit. Okay, so it was done in a bad light. You can see cunning in a bad sense. Okay, what is cunning again? So cunning in a bad sense. Okay, cunning. Again, witty. Okay, knowing. Deceitful, of course. Resourceful, imaginative. But yeah, so knowing. It just knowing. In general, it means knowing. Okay. Knowledge, all right? Knowledge in a bad sense. Bad knowledge. Things you shouldn't know, you know now. So in a sense, this wasn't the word used, all right? But it can be implied that this is also part of their nakedness. And, you know, it was both, All right, both in the knowledge that of life and death that they weren't supposed to know. That's cunning in a bad sense. On top of that, they were actually physically naked as well. Okay, that's why you don't see that word there again. But all the words are very similar to the way they're pronounced because they are derivatives. Okay, bare, naked, to make bare. All right, so that's that's and again, so uncover and bare. Right, if you go to bare, the word hasap is here, to make bare, but it also means to strip off or uncover. But in the next verse, galah, all right, it means the same thing, to uncover. This can mean uncover as well, but this is used more. Uncover 34 times, galah, but kasaf as uncover only used twice. Okay, so there's different words that are similar, all right, and have similar meanings that are also, good to look into. So that's the scripture that comes to mind with me when I think of bear. I made Esau bear, essentially, stripped him, all right, and he's not physically naked, all right, but he's made him, bare, like, desolate, okay, for, his wickedness. So that's a little short one, all right, not as long as the other one. How long we go? 16, 17 minutes. That's fine. But yeah, so that's a deeper look into the word naked and some other words as well. All right, naked or bare. So, just food for thought. All right, so not when Adam and Eve were made bare, all right, or naked, excuse me, when they were made naked, all right, the other words for naked also mean that they, deceitfully gained knowledge. So one could imply, all right, that being that they're linked and they're pronounced, that could also mean the same thing. In a sense, it was knowledge that was got deceitfully. Okay, what is deceit? Okay, concealing or misrepresenting the truth. And she didn't, literally lie to the Lord, but she was going to she didn't want him to find out. All right, that would have been deception. Okay, that would have been deception. And a kid doing deceitful things, you tell them not to do something and they go behind your back and do it. That's deceit. Okay, they're concealing what they did. They went behind your back. They're trying not to get caught. And that's exactly what Eve did. So why it's not the same word that's used there, and I'm not trying to say that it is, you can put two and two together and say that why she was naked physically, she was also naked as in, obtained knowledge through deceit. Okay, through that, that cunningness. So food for thought. All right. But that's the lesson. We're going to close out there. Lord, when it was edifying, just a little quick hit. Again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashim Yahawashi, Bahashim Wadash. I want to say shalom to you brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring, keep the faith. We're almost out of here. Until next one, Lord willing, shalom.